Hello everyone, welcome back to our discussion forum where we are discussing about NISM equity derivative, which is series 8 exam. So in the previous session or in the previous video, I have just spoken about this module, equity derivative module. I have spoken about that this when you're going to write this exam, you have to attempt an objective type paper which will have 100 questions and one question will have 1 mark and you have a negative marking of 4R minus W. And to pass this exam, you have to get minimum 60%. So I believe you have seen my previous video. And also I have spoken about how you can register yourself for this exam by logging into NISM website. Okay, so those were the basic details and I have already given in my previous video. In case if you have not seen that video, I really suggest you that you can go back and see that video first and then you can come to this session. So in this session, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the chapter 1 of this derivative module. Okay, now talking about this chapter 1, so you can see it have a weightage of 10%. Okay, so again, if you talk about marking wise, this is very important chapter, although this is easy chapter. So don't think that because this is the first chapter and easy, so you'll not get much question from that. So quite opposite, you are getting 10% questions from this chapter. So I hope you are super excited for this session. So in case if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and use the comment option to ask as many questions as you can. Okay. So now coming to this topic without spending much time, I'm going to talk about basics of derivative in this session, where if I talk about the learning objective, here we're going to talk about what is derivative and what are the different types of derivative products. Okay, we're going to get into the history. Okay, and we're going to talk about like in the past what all has happened, which actually led to the development of so many innovative products in the derivative market. We're going to talk about them. Then we're going to talk about the significance of derivative market, why derivative market is so significant, and how when it comes to trading or investing in the market, why we cannot do that without using a derivative as in the covered option. Okay, so that way we're going to talk about the significance of derivative market. We're going to talk about the risk in derivative trading. These all we're going to cover in the first chapter. So what I will try to do, I'll try to make in videos. Okay, this first chapter, first when I'll discuss in the form of numerous videos, expecting that I'll not exceed beyond 10 minutes. That I'll keep in my mind that while developing in a video, it might sometime exceed a little bit further, but you have to pardon me for that part. And I try to make a short video of 10 minutes. And with that, I'll try to cover the first chapter in that. Okay. So first thing first, let's talk about what is derivatives. Okay. If I talk about what is derivatives, so in Hindi, we call derivatives as a Vaida Bajar. So what is derivatives? Derivatives are the financial agreement. Okay. So what that's fine. No, derivatives are the financial agreement. Fine. So what do you do in that financial instrument? So derivatives are the financial instrument in which a person who commit to buy, okay, who commit to buy something in the future, and the person who commit to sell something in the future, they both come together and they mutually discuss or they mutually talk about the terms of the contract, or they can go to the exchange and then exchange tells them the terms of the contract. But here the person who want to buy something in the future, who want to act like a buyer in the future, and the person who want to sell something in the future, who want to act like a seller in the future, both are coming together. Either they're deciding the terms of the contract mutually or they're deciding through exchange, but we are talking about a transaction which will be done in the future. Okay, so when we talk about deciding the terms of the contract, here the terms of the contract are decided at this moment, and based on these terms the contract will be done in the future. Okay, that is what basically is a derivative instrument. Okay, so when we talk about in derivatives, okay, when we are talking about derivatives, so the person who want to act like a buyer in the future is called a long position holder. Okay, so imagine the here, if I write this here, so let me pause my video for the moment. Okay, so the person who want to buy in the future is called as long position holder. Okay, the person who want to buy an asset in the future is called long position holder. And the person who want to sell an asset in the future is called as short position holder. Okay, so here we are not going to use the word buyer or seller. Here we'll use the word called long position holder and short position holder. So long position holder is the person who want to buy an asset in the future. So the asset on which they're talking about a transaction which they will do in the future, this asset is called as an underlying asset. This asset, we call this asset as an underlying asset. Okay. So the person who want to act like a buyer in the future or the person who want to act like a seller in the future, they both come together and they can either decide through exchange or they can mutually decide the terms of the contract. Okay, whatever they're deciding over the terms of the contract, they will follow that in the future. Okay, so basically, guys, you have to understand that when you hear the word derivative, basically you have to understand that when you hear the word derivatives, so derivatives, like the word itself telling you the meaning that they are not real in the nature, they are deriving their value from some underlying asset. So your underlying asset can be anything. When it comes to underlying asset, your underlying asset can be metals such as gold, silver, aluminum, copper, zinc, nickel. It can be energy sources like oil, coal, electricity, natural gas. It can be agri commodity like wheat, pulses, sugar, coffee, cotton. It can be financial assets like share, bonds, foreign exchange. Okay, so your underlying asset can be anything. Okay, so derivatives, as you can see, they are the contract or their product which derive their value from some other assets. Those assets are called as underlying assets. I hope this much is clear, little bit clear. I don't think so that it would be too much clear or you would have understood by this time everything. So but for the time being, I can assume or I can take a benefit of doubt here, assuming that you guys have understood something. So here when I'm talking about derivative, in the case of derivative, we are talking about a transaction which we'll do in the future, guys. So basically, we are talking about a transaction which we'll do in the future, but based on the present determined condition. So based on the present determined condition, we are talking about a transaction which we'll do in the future. Okay, so the person who want to act like a buyer in future, okay, the person who want to act like a buyer in the future is called as long position holder. And the person who want to act like a seller in the future is called as short position holder. So I hope you understood. So in the case of derivatives, when we talk about derivatives, in the case of derivatives, two person they come together, okay, and these two person whoever are coming together, for what reason they're coming together? Because they have a concern, guys. What is the concern? Concern is the demand supply mismatch. There's a concern what we are having, that is demand supply mismatch. Because if you want to act like a buyer in the future, then you have a concern that the price might rise up in the future. While if you want to act like a seller in the future, then you have a concern that the price might fall in the future. Okay, so whoever want to buy something in future, they have worry that might be the price can rise up in the future, or the person who want to act like a seller in the future, they might have a problem or they might have a concern that the price might fall in the future. Okay, so in order to remove this worrisome factor, okay, the concern what they're having, okay, so what they're doing, they're coming up and they're talking about a transaction which they will do in the future based on the present determined condition. Okay, and this form of financial instrument over which they are talking about their transaction, which they will do in the future, this form of transaction is called as derivatives. So I hope this much is clear with all of you. Okay, you have to understand that, guys, if demand is more than the supply, if your demand become more than the supply, if your demand become more than supply, then your price will rise, and everyone understands basic economics. So if your demand will become more than supply, your price will rise. While if your demand become less than the supply, then your price might fall. So in normal economics world, that there's always a mismatch. There's always a possibility of mismatch in the price, right? The price might rise, price might fall. No one knows now what's gonna happen in the future. Your price might increase with the time, or it might decrease with the time, right? So, just to avoid, just to minimize this concern, right? So that was the reason why derivative came in picture. Okay, everyone, I hope you are getting it. That was the reason why derivative came in the picture. Where if I'm talking about a scenario, okay, if I'm talking about a scenario where the two-person they mutually decide the terms of the contract, okay, that form of derivative instrument was called as forward contract. Okay, that form of derivative instrument was called as forward contract. And forward contract, when I talk about forward contract, when I talk about forward contract, it was bilateral. It was bilateral customized agreement. It was bilateral customized agreement between the long position holder and short position holder, where they decided the terms of the contract based on their mutual convenience. And forward contract are always OTC based instrument. OTC means over the contract. When you talk about forward contract, they were basically over the counter or OTC based derivative instrument. Okay, guys. So I hope by this time you got some clarity over these terms like forward contract, bilateral agreement, OTC agreement. So how you have to remember derivatives? So derivatives have actually started. No one knows the history of derivative, from how long people are using derivatives. Okay, but the earliest known derivative instruments were forward contract. Okay, so when we talk about forward contract were bilaterally agreed customized agreement between the long and short position holder, which they decide mutually based upon their comfortableness. They can decide anything. Okay, they can be a farmer and a trader. They might decide that farmer will give 10 kg of potato to the trader. After 3 months, a potato will buy those potatoes from the farmer, maybe at 70 rupees per kg. Anything. It's up to them. They can decide that they will do this transaction over moon, or they might decide they will do this transaction at the top of Burj Khalifa. It's up to them. Okay, so forward contract is that kind of what you say. It's a kind of derivative instrument where the long position holder and short position holder they mutually decide the terms of the contract, which they will do in the future based on the present determined condition. Okay, so I hope this part is clear with all of you. So when we are talking about derivatives, when we are talking about in the history, people were using derivatives. So basically, we are talking about commodity derivatives in the form of forward contract. At that time, there was no exchange as such. Okay, so since there was no exchange as such, so these people were mutually deciding the terms of the contract. But forward contract contains a problem. That problem is called default risk. Okay, default risk or the counterparty risk. Default risk or counterparty risk means that there might a possibility that one person might run away from the contract. Maybe that we decided that me, suppose I am the farmer and the other person is a trader. We decided that after 2 months we'll do transaction over gold. Okay. Or maybe we decided since I'm farmer, so I cannot trade over gold. So just considering an hypothetical situation, maybe a potato, let's talk about potato only. So maybe if I'm a farmer and there's other person called trader, we decided that we'll do transaction over potato. I'll give 10 kg of potato and the other person will buy this 10 kg of potato at 70 rupees per kg. Okay. And what happened after 2 months? It might happen that the price of potato became 80 or 90. Okay. Then at that possibility, what will happen? Then I would be very happy. Okay. As a farmer, I would be very happy thinking that, yeah, the price of potato has gone up so much. So I might think that why should I go to that trader, whoever was a trader? Let's do this transaction. Let's go to the market and sell this potato and get at 90 rupees per kg. Why should I go with that trader? Or it might happen that trader would be very happy in that situation. He would be thinking, thank God I did this derivative agreement. Otherwise, the potato price has gone up so much. I would have ended up in buying it so higher price. Okay. But I would be sad thinking that, oh God, I have no other option. I have to give him, if I really genuine person, then I will give him at the agreed price, because we agreed it that we'll do transaction at 70 rupees. So I have to give it 70 rupees, although the price of potato has become 90 rupees. Okay. And the trader would be very happy that thank God I have done this derivative transaction. Otherwise, I have to end up in buying potato at very high price. So it might happen that maybe the price fall down. If the price fall down to 50 or 40, then farmer would be very happy, because he has agreed this derivative transaction, having a concern that the price might fall, and the price actually has fallen. So farmer has actually insured his risk. Now the trader would be worryful, because same potato which is there in the market at 50 rupees, he has to buy from the farmer at 70 rupees, because they have agreed that. So I hope you are getting this. So when we are talking about derivative agreement, we are talking about a transaction which will be done in the future based on the present determined condition. So there might be possibility of default risk or the counterparty risk, where might be one person might not follow the transaction what was agreed upon. So it was felt in the many years of transaction in different part of the world, it was felt that many people were running away from the transaction. So another form of instrument came in picture, which was called as future contract, which allowed the forward contract to be traded over the exchange. So in the next video, I'll talk about future contract. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Forward contract. Forward contract was the earliest known derivative instrument. It was bilateral OTC based instrument. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. So if you like this video, please click on the like button and give as many comment as you want. How you felt this video was all about. You can give your opinion, you can give your comment about this video. I will try to help you if you have any doubt or concern with my communication ability, in case if I could not able to explain you that part. So it's time that I should wind up this session, and I'll continue further in the next video, because I don't want to elongate the length of the video. So guys, so I hope after watching this video, you will gonna watch the next video. And if you like this video, please click on the like button. Thank you. I'll see you all in next video.